What's going on, guys? Rob Silva here with Century 21 Northeast, your Rhode Island real estate resource. Now, before we get into today's video topic discussing the various investment strategies in real estate, I really want to take a couple minutes just to discuss some of the exciting changes and opportunities we can expect in the Rhode Island real estate market. So over the last few weeks, we've seen incremental rises week over week in the number of listings for sale. So overall, inventory for residential real estate is on the rise. This is great news for buyers, giving them more options, and it really just evens the playing field between buyers and sellers. So for sellers, this is definitely your winter is coming moment. If you've been on the fence about selling while the market's still hot, now is definitely the time to sell and get out. This time next year, it's going to be a very different conversation about what the market's doing, and I suspect we could do a complete 180 into a buyer's market. So with that said, seasoned investors and even first-time investors better get ready for the market shift. So this video is going to be more geared toward the newbie investor looking to break into the real estate game. This first strategy we have is called the buy and hold strategy, and this is perhaps the most pure form of real estate investing that there is. So essentially that involves buying a property and creating wealth in one or two ways. Number one is actually renting the property out to tenants and collecting monthly cash flow. The second way is just holding on to the property for a length of time until you can sell it for a future gain. Among this strategy's advantages is the fact that while you hold the property and rent it out, the mortgage gets paid down each and every month, decreasing your principal balance and increasing your equity over time. One of the most important things for a new buy and hold investor is to understand how to evaluate deals and opportunities. By far the most common mistake we see new investors make with this particular strategy is buying bad deals because they simply don't understand property evaluation. Other common problems include underestimating expenses, making bad decisions with tenant selection, and failing to properly manage your assets. So to be a successful buy and hold strategy investor, you must learn how to identify the peaks and valleys in the market that the property is located in. Ultimately, when the market and the properties in it are at a low point, when prices are low and inventory is high, it's a great time for the buy and hold investor to seek property purchase. One of the most popular tactics for making money in real estate is actually flipping houses. House flipping is the practice of buying a piece of real estate at a discounted price, improving it in some way, and then selling it for a profit. In reality, the flipping model is quite similar to the retail model of buy low, sell high. The most popular type of property to flip is the single-family home. Now, there's a rule of thumb in house flipping known as the 70% rule, and that's where you will buy a home for 70% of its current value, less any rehab costs. For example, a home would be worth $100,000 if it were in good condition, but it needs $20,000 worth of work. A typical house flipper will purchase the home for $50,000 and seek to sell it for the full $100,000 when the work is completed. And keep in mind that this is simply a rule of thumb, and actual numbers must be verified and adjusted to ensure a successful and profitable flip. One of the key aspects in flipping homes is speed. A house flipper will attempt to buy, rehab, and sell the property as quick as possible to ensure maximum profitability. The key is you want to avoid your holding costs, such as monthly bills, financing charges, property taxes, condo fees, utilities, and any other maintenance bills required to keep the house in good physical or financial standing during your time of ownership. Flipping homes is definitely not a passive form of real estate investment. This is very hands-on. It's like a day-to-day job. So when an investor usually stops flipping properties, they stop making money until they begin again. Many investors choose to use the flipping to fund their day-to-day bills and to provide financial support for other more passive investments. The third form of real estate investment that we're going to get to today is called wholesaling. Now, wholesaling real estate involves nothing but finding great deals, writing a contract to acquire the deal, and selling that contract to another buyer. So generally, a wholesaler never actually owns the piece of property they're selling. Instead, a wholesaler will simply find great deals by using a variety of marketing strategies. They put them under contract, and they sell that contract for what we call an assignment fee. So this fee typically ranges between $500 and $5,000. It can really depend on the size of the deal, but essentially a wholesaler is just a middleman who's paid for finding deals, and this does not require a real estate license. Some wholesalers sell their contracts to retail buyers, but most wholesalers sell their contracts to other investors, often house flippers, who are typically cash buyers. So when dealing with these cash buyers, a wholesaler may get paid within days or even weeks. Wholesaling is usually the first strategy used by newbie investors simply because you never own the property and you don't have to incur any of the costs and headaches associated with homeownership. The last strategy we're going to get to today is called house hacking. This is my personal favorite, as I know when my time comes, this is going to be how I make my jump into the real estate investing game. So essentially, when you house hack, you buy a multifamily unit, 2, 3, maybe 4 units, you put 5% down instead of the conventional 20 to 25%. This only qualifies FHA if it meets a handful of criteria, including you live in the property for a year. So in theory, I could put 5% down towards a duplex, live in one side, and rent out the other. And I can rent out the other at a cost that will supplement my pay towards the mortgage, ultimately lowering my mortgage. Eventually, I move out of the property, move on to other investments, and rent out the other. Guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you guys got some value out of this. If you or anyone you know has questions about real estate, investing in real estate, buying, selling real estate, give them my number. You have my information. Please feel free to get in touch with me anytime. As always, I really, really appreciate the opportunity to just be in front of you and share this community with you. As always, my name is Rob Silva with Century 21 Northeast, your Rhode Island real estate resource, and I'll see you next week.